What's up, everybody? This is Disco and Monica Hydroponic. Today, this video is going to be on my beliefs on what karma is. These beliefs are based upon study, my practice, and what I've seen in the world for the past 45 years. I'm 45. So, karma. What karma is? Karma is the cosmic law of cause and effect, as well as consistency. Now I'll explain what I mean by the consistency part later. Right now I'm going to explain what I mean by cause and effect. So basically what cause and effect is like for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction unless acted upon by another outside force. So if I were to press on this, if I were in space with like no air molecules or anything like that, and I were to hit this with an equal amount of force, this would go away from my finger at a consistent rate forever, unless acted upon by an existing force. So that could be gravity. That could be like the air molecules. It rubbing against the air molecules would slow it down over time. Friction, you know, like a tension, just all other different kinds of things. So that's what that means. So what karma is not. Karma is not ruled by the morals of man or religious doctrine. And religious doctrine is basically the morals of man. They were created in order to control other people. Now I made some notes, so I'm looking over here. Everyone has their own opinions on what is good and what is bad, you know, and what it means to be good to the next. Let me see. Yeah, everybody has their own opinions on what is good and what is bad, whatever, right? So what's good to me may not be good to you. What's bad to me may not be good to you. I'll give you an example of this. When I was a kid, we used to have get-togethers at my grandmother's house. And the house that I grew up in, we had a metal stove. And I may have mentioned this before in another video, but we had this metal heater inside of the, it was a gas heater back when propane was called butane. And so, that's what my grandma called it. So this is how we heated the room. You know, it was just in the middle of the, and it was just like this gas that would come out, and there was metal around it. They would keep, I guess, everything from burning and shit. So, but you could burn yourself on the metal. So you had to be careful of it. So one get-together we were having, there was one of my cousins was he was way younger, and he kept kind of like staggering towards it. I guess it was the fire. I don't know what it was that was attracting him. But he kept on getting close, and everybody would always trip out and stop him and pull him away, you know, so he wouldn't burn himself. Then my grandmother says, déjalo, which means leave him alone. Like, let him burn himself. Because even though it sounds bad to let him burn himself, after he burns himself once, that little kid is not going to go to that fucking metal heater anymore. He's not going to burn himself anymore. You know, that's going to teach him a lesson. So it's a hard lesson, but it's a lesson nonetheless, instead of having to constantly watch them. You know what I'm saying? You have to let people learn their lessons. So that's what that. It's an example of that. So emotions. Now I'm going to go into emotions dictate the inner universe, and which then dictates the outer universe. So everything is energy. So if you let something out, that energy affects the outer universe. But if you keep things in, that affects the inner universe, which is in you. You know, I think everybody knows that everything you inside, everything you need to know about the universe, you have a universe inside yourself. So it's like a reflection. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm always stressed out, everything is going to stress me out. If I'm always happy, pretty much a lot of things, I'm going to see the good side of everything. You know, a lot of things. You know, yeah, examples of this can be like the way stress affects us. If we don't deal with it, it can affect. Like if we don't deal with it in a healthy way, like cancer, hypertension, people can have strokes, high blood pressure. You know, that has to do with diet as well. But you know, there's some examples there. Now, this does not mean that the inner universe cannot affect the outer universe. In magic, we use intent, and emotions can intensify intent. So, for example, in a mundane sense, would be like a boxer. Now, okay, let me put that here so I don't forget. Okay, so when a boxer throws a punch, there's certain mechanics involved in the punch to make the punch stronger. This is learned over the years, you know. So there's like, you throw in a punch, instead of just extending your arm, you twist your hip, you turn on the ball of your foot, and this makes the punch more powerful. You can throw your body into it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a boom, and you get a lot more power out of the punch. If you add emotion to this, you add even more power to it. So emotion has power. So whether we keep that in or out is up to us, like how we utilize it. An example in a magical sense would be if you're cursing somebody. Like if somebody does you wrong, and you want to inflict a curse upon them. You're really angry at that person. You can use that anger in the curse, however you're doing the curse. If you're doing a spell or whatever, or bringing them up in the astral and attacking their astral body, whatever it is you're doing, and just like use that emotion, and it really intensifies the curse. It makes it stick. It fucks some shit up. You know what I'm saying? And then that in effect makes the curse more effective. So karma also does not mean that it's going to come back to you threefold or tenfold or whatever it is now. Now, I'm going to say right now, it's almost as if we've taken on an energetic currency inflation rate with this karma thing. Like everybody, has this. I wouldn't be surprised if within a few years or before I die, it's going to be like, oh, it comes back to you 20-fold or whatever, or 100-fold. Like everybody keeps on adding all this shit, and really that's based upon fear. A lot of people are afraid, and this keeps the fear going, which again is control. To create fear within someone is to create control within them. You can control them if you can control their fear. That's not to say that if you're afraid, you're not going to do something. You know what I'm saying? Fear is a pretty good natural emotion that you can use and you can utilize. But if it stops you from doing certain acts, it's control. So now we get to the consistency part. Sorry. We have different levels. Now I'm going to use a like social status or stuff like that. We have different levels we're born into, and one level isn't better than the other. Level. They just hold different lessons, right? Now, this isn't to say that people who are rich can't learn lessons that poor people can, and then like vice versa, right? So, people that are born rich into rich families tend to stay rich, and people that are born into poor families tend to stay poor. And I say tend to because this can change. Like if you're a rich person, you can become poor if you fuck, but you have to fuck up like a lot. You know what I'm saying? And the opposite. If you're a poor person and you want to become rich, it has a lot. You have to put in a lot of fucking work. It's luck. It's work. Just basically, man, it's really, really difficult, and people try to keep you down. Basically, what karma tries to do, karma tries to keep everything smooth, right? So if you try to change something, karma's gonna be like, and this is gonna be anthropomorphic of me, but I mean, not to put anthropomorphic qualities onto karma. However, it's going to be like karma's gonna be like, hey man, just you need to stay here. This is your place. All right, so it's really difficult to break free from that karmic string that you're on, to move up or down or whatever. Now, up or down is kind of like it's neither here nor there, right? So yeah, so if you want to become rich, like just like anything else, or if you want to become physically fit, it takes a lot of hard work. If you want to become like really intelligent, normally it takes a lot of hard work. Even with magical practice, to become really proficient in magic, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of building, like learning from different practices and then developing your own practice kind of a thing. And everybody is different, so it's not going to be just like, there isn't some template. This is going to tell you how to do it. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself. And I think this is part of why everybody's different, is because we all still need to learn those lessons. So I really believe that we're here to learn lessons no matter where we're at, karmically or whatever. So yeah, that's all I got to say about that, man. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this video. Hope it made sense. If you like this video, share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with your enemies. Take it easy.